There is power behind every story we carry within. Every tragedy, no, yes, laugh, victory. And every testimony that is incubated within our souls have power. The power to transform, from tragedy to crown, from obstacle to opportunity. And all the moments in between make us wiser. Watch Candid Conversations with Charisa for impactful, unheard moments that will certainly spark your power and inner truth to shift, heal, and restore your life. It's time to get real, uncover, unlock, unpack, set free, and increase the dialogue to change a life. We all start somewhere and end in places of destiny. Get ready for the long-awaited Candid Conversations with Charisa.
I have to be honest. The one brief moment that I can think about where resented is a strong word, so I don't want to use resentment, but the one day where I may have wished differently would have been a short season after they died tragically. Because there was so many times that I wanted to withdraw and I wanted to isolate. I wanted to not be bothered ever again. There was even a moment where, man, I'm about to tell a story I've never told anybody. So we were staying at a hotel when everything happened in Freeport, Grand Bahama, the Bahamas. And I remember the room we were in was on a very high floor. And so we had a balcony. And the day after, I remember going outside. I think I had a robe on because I just remember, I remember going outside and being in total disbelief and still trying to figure out, has this thing really happened? I'm hoping that I'm standing outside and I'll hear the doorbell ring, or I'll hear a knock at the door, or I'll hear what sound like heels on the floor. That'll be my dad coming in the room. But I'm outside and I remember looking at the sky. I remember looking at the buildings far out in the horizon. And then I remember looking down. Stood to the edge of this balcony wall looking down. And I had that thought of, I don't even want to be here. The whole play of standing on the edge of that wall and literally just closing my eyes and taking a step and not feeling anything, because by the time I feel, I would be dead anyway, because I would have taken a step and I would hit the floor. I had that moment. And it wasn't so much that moment that answers your question. It is the moment after that. The fact that I had the parents I had, the fact that I had the teachings that I had, the fact that I had the life that I had, the fact that I knew what purpose meant and why it was important. It was that moment that I didn't want to have that thought. I didn't want to have those thoughts of, you know you can't have that thought. You know you can't do this. You know your parents would want to see you go on. You know they would want you to get through this. And it was that moment where I just didn't want to be a Monroe for a second. I didn't want to be this preacher's kid. I didn't want to be, I just wanted to not be there. Why can't I be with you? Why can't I be where y'all are? I don't care how better it is. I don't care how I get there. I just didn't want to be here. But I had that thought of, and my dad saying to me, the fact that you are still breathing, there's something left for you to do. Which reminded me of the fact that you was on that plane means that there was a greater plan for you. And that was one of those moments where I would have resented, if I used that word, for being a preacher's kid, which means I would have had the training and the teaching that I would have had, and it was etched. It was almost as though it was etched on my heart, I couldn't shake it. And so we couldn't isolate them. We couldn't just disappear. You just want to just disappear, not ever just be ever. And then there's so many people pulling on you, but God had clearly prepared and graced me for what he had coming down the pipe. Sometimes crap comes down the pipe. Sometimes clear liquid comes down the pipe. Sometimes liquid ain't so clear. But something was coming down the pipe that he was preparing me for, that he had built me for. And if it wasn't by the grace of God, if it wasn't by the investment that my parents had instilled and put into us already, if it wasn't because of even the relationship that I had with God already and the purpose that I knew that I was here for, if it wasn't for all of that, I don't know. Like, you know, I think about it every so often, you know, would I have made that step off of that ledge? Like the fact, like I remember it like it was there. I never told the story, never said this before. And I think part of it was because I was ashamed that I would even have that thought, especially as a social worker who talk people off of their ledge. Like I talk people off of the ledge of suicide. And how dare I, under any circumstances, have that thought of, like, if you're not here, why should I be? I don't want to be here without you. It's a perfect ledge. We 10 stories high. Perfect plan. But God had a greater plan. So here I am, 7 years later, full of joy, happy, excited, ready to further expose myself, further expose those around me, ready to travel, continue having adventures, having fun, and just living life, purposeful. Boom. Don't ask me that question ever again, no more.
Well, I didn't think